It's the middle of July in that dead summer heat, and what better way to beat the heat than to sit inside with a bunch of your friends in the air conditioning, drinking cold drinks, and watching cheesy comedy slasher films, and boy, do we have one for you. I had the privilege of sitting down with Sarah from Two Chicks Talking Flicks to take a little time to discuss Clockout Films' horror comedy selection, Slaughter Beach. The story follows Ralph and Barry who, while searching around their sleepy little beach town for work, decide that their time might be better spent being the superheroes of the beach. Will they become the superheroes that they had always dreamed they would be? Will Barry make his father proud, or will a crazed and murderous fisherman wipe all of those dreams away? Sit back and listen and have a little fun while we discuss Slaughter Beach. And as always, remember, spoilers ahead.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chris.
And this is our review of Slaughter Beach.
Written and directed by Daniel C. Davis and starring John McCoy, Ethan Hahn, Jim Canatelli, and Amy Lynn Patton.
Yeah, so Chris, you were contacted by the people that produced this film.
Yes,
And
it was contacted by Clockout Films.
okay, and they asked you, hey, can you do a review of this movie? And you thought, Sarah is the best person to have on here to discuss this film.
I thought we would have fun. I did.
Yeah, fun we had.
And I was really curious when I brought this to you if you would love something with the same, I want to say, low-budget independent cinema sensibilities that I grew up with.
Yeah, actually, we had been, me and my co-host had been asked by someone as well to watch their movie, and we had a great time watching it. So I was excited when you asked me.
Okay. You said was. That's past tense.
Yeah.
My personal feelings on the film is I absolutely loved it from beginning to end, but you have to understand, like I have to put into context. I grew up with Trauma Films, Full Moon Entertainment, the Lloyd Kaufman, I want to say Lloyd Kaufman, but I was going to say he did Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Puppet Master was done with Full Moon Entertainment, Doll Man, just stuff that was over the top gory, over the top kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that they're making something that's going to be sent out to a small audience with a hope of reaching a larger audience through sort of a cult cinema fashion.
Okay.
So that's what I loved about this anyway.
Did you want to give a synopsis of the movie?
Do I want to give a synopsis of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can do that.
In our pre-show notes, you had said you were going to give a synopsis of the movie.
Okay, that's fair. So this film stars a couple of hapless guys whose father basically has sent them out and said, look, you guys can't keep staying in my basement. You've got to go out and find a job. So they decide after I want to say maybe 1 day search to become superheroes of the beach.
I think it was like a 20-minute
Awesome Boy
search.
and Bludgeon Man.
I said I think it was like a 20-minute search.
Well, they decided to be superheroes by the time night fell and they didn't find anything else.
True.
And they happened to stumble upon a guy who is murdering people all over the beach.
Yeah.
At first, he was murdering them fairly quietly, and then at just one montage scene just went wacko.
Yeah.
That Sam the fisherman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Fishman Sam, my apologies. Not Sam the fisherman. I had that backwards. And basically the remainder of the film is them Scooby-Dooing everything up, basically trying to hunt down, do their best Shaggy and Scooby impression.
Yeah.
Trying to hunt down the killer.
Scoob!
That was a horrible synopsis Wow.
No,
Uh,
no, I think it was pretty good.
I missed the whole eyeball in a can thing. Bait.
Yes, bait. Mhm.
Bait is the big thing in this film. Bait.
That looks like tomato paste with
Well, it's
chunks
all
of
practical effects. So
flesh.
it was probably homemade eyes and fingers, and
Hmm.
they kind of got those petite diced tomatoes and kind of mixed it in a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it
Uh,
looked like. Had I opened my can of not whoop ass, but this bait, I I would have been like, nope, not putting my hand in that. Mm-mm.
my question is, how is Awesome Boy not observant enough to know that there's a finger and an eyeball in that can while they're putting the bait on the line?
Right? Well, and like it was pretty what is the word? Uh Not liquidy
I know I
because
had trouble finding words too.
it wasn't liquidy, but what were you hooking onto this line if it's not the eyeballs and the fingers?
Right. I mean, it was a puree of sorts. So, I mean,
Yeah.
were they just kind of like trying to mash it together like a snowball of guts? I
Yeah.
mean,
Like what did they put on the line because you couldn't have put that tomato paste on there. So you had to put the fingers and eyeballs and you didn't notice the first time?
you could chum the water if you were looking for something more vicious,
Yeah,
I
I
suppose.
guess.
But you still need something to hook on the line, which,
Yeah.
was essentially the eyeball. And I want to know what was on their line. Did they find like a piece of intestines or something to just kind of hang off? Thought it was
A
a worm,
worm.
maybe?
Maybe. I don't
Possibly.
know. The
I
only
want to be
other
there for them baiting the line.
the only bait I've ever seen is live worms. I've never seen a can like that before.
I've seen chum, but no, I've all the bait I've ever seen are night crawlers.
Yeah.
No, no can of guts. Never been handed that before, and I think that would turn me off to fishing like real quick. Like, what fish is eating this shit?
Exactly, right?
Point me
So
away from it.
my very first thought on this film when it started, I was like, okay, I get it. It's like a campy 70s, 80s vibe to it. Very Jaws, um, uh, Friday the 13th kind of feel. So
Okay.
I got it. I understood where they were going. Um, I just don't know if it got there for me.
Me personally, it brought up vibes from a couple of different films. One of the main ones being an old trauma film called Cannibal the Musical. So the fisherman guy felt a lot like how like there was a how would I even describe Cannibal the Musical? It was a bit of madness done by Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park.
Okay.
Uh, way back before they did South Park. They did a whole musical called Cannibal the Musical for Troma Entertainment.
Of course.
And this feels, the guy that plays Fishman Sam feels like this dude that just went absolutely batshit crazy and started singing what I still believe to this day Disney stole, is a whole thing about building a snowman to make a friend. So yeah, this guy basically lost his mind and is having this insane sing-along speech about building a snowman, and that's what I got from Fishman Sam, especially when he went on his one-liner spree near the end of the movie.
Yeah. Do you think he wanted to be a pirate in like a former life?
I think he mentioned pirate. He was
Yeah.
talking like Bloodbeard the pirate.
Yeah.
He gave a whole Moby
Diatribe.
Dick speech regarding Lulu the horseshoe crab,
Yeah.
which was his white whale.
I was like, who the hell is Lulu?
I got the feeling like he read a book in his own mind regarding Lulu the giant horseshoe crab, and he's dedicated his entire insane life to trying to find it.
Like, maybe it's because of where they're from, but I had a hard time understanding most of what everybody said. I was just like, what is he talking about? I did not get that there was a horseshoe crab named Lulu. I heard him say Lulu, and I was just like, who is this Lulu? Was she murdered? Like, why? Why is he calling out for Lulu?
When Awesome Boy and Bludgeon Man first run across Fishman Sam in his bait shack, he goes through that whole story at the beginning where he's talking about the horseshoe crab named Lulu.
Oh, I forgot that. Okay. I didn't watch
my
this
second watching through for that to click.
Yeah, I didn't watch this all in one setting. So I watched it here and there just when I had time. And I completely forgot about that conversation.
That was probably one of my two favorite conversations in the movie. That and Awesome Boy and Bludgeon Man walking into the ice cream shop for the first time, and he keeps just smacking that bell to introduce himself.
I did mention that. There are some funny parts in this movie, and most of them have to do with the two of them. And I did like that part.
I think that it was this is not so much a slasher film for me as it is a comedy with a slasher film undertone.
Yeah. I mean,
so I definitely love the comedy. I think it worked well.
Yes, yeah. I like the comedy. I feel like there could have been an opportunity to give them more dimension and a little bit more backstory.
I'm hoping this is an origin story. I'm hoping they do more of this.
Yeah, I like the two guys. It seems weird that they're friends. Like at first when he was calling the boys, I thought that they were trying to make them seem like they were like 16, 17, but they're really like 30-year-olds. Does that make sense?
I know they're still like 30-year-olds living in dad's apartment. He's like, no, you guys got to go find jobs. You can't stay here.
But his friend seems way older than him. And I was just like, who are these two guys? How are they friends?
I thought they were about the same age range.
Really? I thought the other one seemed way older.
Bludgeon Man?
Yeah, and he has a Tone Loc sort of feel to him. You know, the
Ralph,
singer.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Okay, you said it, and then it took me a minute. I'm like, okay, the guy that was in like Ace Ventura did the wild thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't he kind of have that feel?
You know who Ethan gives me? Ethan Hahn, the guy that played Barry. He gave me Rufio vibes.
Okay.
He really did. That confidence in the face of everything.
He kind of reminded me. There's a show. It's called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I don't know if you ever saw it, but in the show.
The first season.
Okay, so her main love guy that she's after, he reminded me of him.
Oh, okay, I can see that a little
and
bit.
They kind of are both just like goofy. They kind of sort of look alike a little. But he has the same kind of attitude and not swagger, but like aloofness, maybe. That I kind of was thinking they were very similar that way.
I mean, I think Barry and Ralph are very enjoyable characters in the film. Some other things that I could have dealt without, but they both made the film work and made it fun to watch for me.
Yes, I enjoyed any time they were on the screen was a good time.
So, I mean, personally, I think if they use this as sort of like the origin story and jumped it off to make a series, do other little things, put them in different situations, even bring back Fishman Sam, because you really can't tell that he died.
Yeah.
You know, I thought fishermen could swim, and they're just looking at the guy as he's slowly sinking. Doesn't mean he's dead.
That's what I was thinking. I go, just because you hit someone into the water doesn't mean they die.
So I'm hoping that they bring him back as almost a supernatural entity, make them or him their Michael Myers or Jason,
So speaking of Fisherman Sam, so
Okay.
okay, what's his motive? Like, what was driving him to kill all these people? And at first, he was just doing it in the cloak of darkness, Oh, except for, I guess, the lifeguard. But he was doing it and really, like, okay, so we're supposed to believe that he's murdering them right then and there, right? And then later
Right.
on, he has some that he didn't actually murder. He just, like, brought them with him so we can have live chum. And I was like,
I feel like the progression. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, oh, okay, that's really weird. And then later on, the two guys stumble upon the girl that originally was supposed to be murdered, and she was in like a freezer. And I was like, so he didn't murder her, even though it surely seemed like he did. But
that's the only one that I had the question on.
yeah, I was like,
what happened with her?
I thought she died.
Why was she the only one put in a freezer?
Yeah, it's like he just went mad and it no holes barred. It didn't matter if he cut you up, if he sliced you open, if he put you on a hook. Didn't matter. As long as you weren't living, he didn't care.
The freezer girl is the only one that thought that maybe it was pushed towards madness. I thought there was a progression in the film. Like at first, he was killing people for two different reasons, to grind them up as chum to sell as bait to other people. But I think he was also trying to use it to bait Lulu, the horseshoe crab himself.
Mm-hmm.
And when he realized that the chum that he made of the people that he captured wasn't working, he moved on to live bait.
Yeah.
So he's figuring, okay, maybe she's looking for something a little bigger.
So, you know what I would have really liked, if I'm going to rework this movie, let's just say.
Okay.
So we open up the film and you just see like maybe a whole fence of people who have gone missing, and you don't know why they're missing, right? So you just see like flyers or maybe flowers or something. People went missing. And then you see Fisherman Sam's tackle shop, and it's just busy, super busy, because everybody's going there to get his bait because his bait's the best bait. And then we find out that he's the murderer. That would have made more sense. Like, that would have been like, oh, wow, he's getting all this business because he's killing people and the fish are attracted to the dead body parts. And so he's getting more and more comfortable with killing people, and that's why he's killing more and more people. Wouldn't that have made more sense? Would be...
I actually like where you went with that. I'm thinking that could be sort of a good sequel, so to speak. Take that idea, right? But transpose it onto his son. Like, he realized his father just went nuts.
Yeah.
No real rhyme or reason to what he was doing or why he was trying to chum the waters for this horseshoe crab Lulu. He's deciding the son of Sam, or Fishman Sam, has decided to keep the shop open, continue his father's baiting practices, but he's going more methodical.
Yeah.
Like, he actually has a purpose. Dad did not have a purpose. Mm-hmm. Find a way to explain it.
Yeah. And like, oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, it's okay. I kind of liked the no rhyme or reason to the guy. Like, he just seemed batshit crazy, which I loved. You know, why is he doing this way? It doesn't matter. Just kill him. Be done with it. Throw him in the water.
I guess I always have to have a reason. You know, I'm a reason kind of person.
He kind of felt like a cross between, and this is me pulling out a little bit of old school. He kind of felt like a cross between the old Frank Gorshin and Cesar Romero characters from like the 1970s, 1960s Batman. The Riddler and Joker from those. where they just seemed mildly unhinged but loved to throw out one-liners, and really you didn't completely understand why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
You just know that you had to stop him.
I did like their choice in music. I thought that was really successful. It really helped give it that 70s, 80s, Jaws feel.
The metal feel. There was a bit of like ska / punk and some metal in there, right?
Yeah.
It gave it that late 80s feel, which I did like.
My biggest complaint was that you have this whole beach of people and nobody saw the lifeguard get murdered. Not a single person. Not the two boys who were hiding out on the other side of the lifeguard stand, or the two that are standing really close to the lifeguard stand.
Like, she did scream pretty loud and gurgle pretty loud.
And I was like, nobody saw her?
I was thinking led to sort of like the supernatural entity. Like, I thought there was going to be some kind of supernatural angle to the whole thing.
Yeah.
How is he able to kill in broad daylight and nobody heard that?
Yeah, like, it's not like he went behind the building where people couldn't see. He went towards the beach where all those people are sitting around, and I was just like, what? How did no one see this or hear it?
I mean, I was hoping it was as quick as those few seconds, and then he dragged her into the shed.
Yeah.
The boys did not look for her in the shed, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she ghosted us. Well, what if she just went into the shed, which they're using for the guard shack?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's entirely possible. Or were those supposed to be changing stations?
Maybe.
I don't know. I do like how they use throughout the entire film regular fishing gear, not modified, even remotely, but it was all fishing gear just used as weaponry.
Yeah, I was like, who is who is getting killed by a line, like a fishing line?
Because that's what I thought he was explaining with that speech that he gave the boys when they showed up in the bait shack, that he was this guy that for hundreds of years has been hunting down Lulu the horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
That's what I thought he was trying to explain, and then it kind of veered off, and it's like, no, I'm actually just this fisherman who's trying to take on the mantle of the guy that used to do it from the books. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
so you're hunting the legend.
If he only hooks your leg, like, you could just go unpluck it with your hands. I was just like, these people have no survival skills at all.
Right? Like, he's hooking live human beings. I want to know what kind of fishing rod he used to take that girl's face off.
Right? And the fact that her boyfriend just kept kissing her.
Well, I mean, he wasn't looking her in the face.
But she's screaming.
She got hooked. She didn't scream, though. She just kind of moaned weirdly.
Yeah,
like
I guess
in displeasure.
So. I was just like,
so,
what is he doing?
To a person that isn't looking you directly in the face, that didn't sound off-putting. It wasn't until the guy ripped her face off and then she screamed, and now he was like, oh, okay, well, now there's a problem.
And then he was kind of like, ew.
Right? He just kind of looked at her, was disgusted, but didn't go after the guy that ripped her face off?
Right? Like, there's two of you.
I would have been after the guy. Or at the very least, I would have pussed out and run the other way. I'm out of here. See ya.
Yeah. Well, and then, like, speaking of the people, so the first time we see the two superheroes go to the boardwalk, there's no one there because people are not staying out late. They, like, have this whole conversation. And then fast forward to the night of mayhem and murder, all of a sudden, all these people are at the boardwalk late at night. And he's killing all of them. I was like, that seems weird.
Yeah, like there were certain areas that were completely shut down. I don't think the boardwalk area that was well lit was ever completely shut down. Because even in the beginning of the movie, when they're doing the claw machine, like it was busy, like really busy.
Yeah. But they were like, no one's ever here. Burr, burr, burr. And I'm like, you were just around a lot of people.
Oh, I almost died listening to Ralph's speech about no one's ever here, and they used to be fucking all over the place over here, and then there was some weird thing about musical queeps, and I was like, oh my god.
I actually have a note about that. I said, Ralph talking about sex in the streets.
Right. First of all, if you're going to talk about musical queeps, what was the tune?
Right.
Tell me the tune.
Yeah.
How was it musical?
A little backstory. Well, and also, why did they unwrap the condom and hand it over to somebody?
They were the two people that were laying on the beach. It was like, it's a really nice night out. It's a nice night to lay on the beach, and they were doing things at the beginning, like when they pinned the guy to the wall. This is a no smoking area. They took his cigarettes away.
Yeah.
Then they bellied up to the bar to this girl that they thought wasn't 21, took her drink, then he drank it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, she looks older than you, dude.
Right. I thought so too.
And then, the safe sex on the beach.
Now, okay, hand him a condom. I get it.
Not unwrapped.
Open one? And I gotta
I thought
tell
that was funny, though.
I thought it was used at first. And I was like, why are you giving him a used condom?
Here's the condom I used yesterday. Be safe.
Yeah, like I wouldn't put it past either one of them to find a used condom and give it to him.
There was a lot of tongue-in-cheek conversation about masturbation, too.
Yeah. They're a very interesting couple.
I thought they were making that joke. You remember when he first went back to his father's house to try to explain that Fishman Sam was killing everybody?
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, we're partners. And then there was a long pause. In fighting crime.
Yeah, I know. And the dad is not like a normal dad. Like, that's not the reaction you have when someone says, hey, Fisherman Sam's killing everybody. He's not like, get out of here. Do you have a job yet?
I get the feeling that Ralph and Barry spun some tall tales for Dad in the past, and it's like a crying wolf situation, the little boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
Where now they're spinning another tale, like now you're superheroes and Fishman Sam is killing everybody. Go get a job, and then come back here, and then we'll talk. You know? And he was proved wrong in the end. The little boy was crying wolf, and it was a wolf in fisherman's clothing. That smeared. Oh wow, that last scene. And mind you, this is spoilers. I warn the people at the beginning of my podcast every time. Spoilers all the way through.
Yeah.
But that final scene where the battle between Fishman Sam, Ralph, and Barry, and first of all, Fisherman Sam seems to know Barry very, very well because he says, "I'm the real king of the sea."
Yeah.
So he knows a little bit more about Barry than he's letting on, and I'm wondering how.
Yeah, it's weird. I wasn't expecting to see boobs. I definitely wasn't expecting to see boobs with piercings.
I was expecting it.
Really?
I was waiting for it several times. Well, like I said, this has a lot of the sensibilities of the old trauma films.
True.
Which were essentially slasher exploitation films. So the idea behind a lot of those films is you always do everything you can to be a little bit offensive.
Yeah.
You go over the top gory with practical effects, and there's always some kind of gratuitous nudity. And that was their gratuitous nudity moment, hooking the beachgoer's top and whoop.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there is that.
I kind of liked how the boys like hooked her top, took it away, and then we're like, "Go, we got to bait the line again and get more."
Yeah.
Like they thought they got a fish. It's like, no, it's a bikini top.
I like when he tells, or Ralph tells him, "That's what you get your rudeness from." It's like, I'm not rude.
I'm Rude? Yes, you are. You're rude. Oh, I had to figure out how to turn. We watched a screener copy of this, and I had to figure out how to turn the subtitles off on the app where we used because the app was not reading the subtitles correctly or not reading the actual dialogue correctly. So like it threw me the first time that I watched it through. I'm like reading the subtitles and trying to watch the film. And I'm like, no, that's not what they're saying. What are they saying? So I had to go back through and watch it again, turn off the subtitles.
Yeah. Why didn't they just go to the cops themselves? I know they explained it that they're too busy with hipsters, but like if
I
you
think, well,
go ahead.
I think Ralph wanted to go to the cops at first,
Yeah.
and then Barry convinced him not to, and then Barry decided near the end, I can't do this. We need to go get the cops. And so then Ralph convinces him, no, we're going to do it.
Yeah. It's just weird.
And I love how Ralph's speech is the one that makes them immediately accurate and competent.
I know, right? Well, they're down by 7 points. It's the last drive of the game. They got to become that great team.
Oh, I got like I don't know if you've watched the old Revenge of the Nerds.
It's been a long time.
The original Revenge of the Nerds film. But I kind of got that feeling like when they figured out Lamar couldn't really throw a javelin, so they had to design a special javelin for him so it would actually make it to where it needs to go. That's what I got from Ralph when he finally threw that nice spiral clam shovel and caught him.
Oh, goodness.
And then go. We both had a thought at the same time. You go first.
I was just going to say, why wasn't the ice cream girl running? Why was she just she was like, okay, I'm leaving and I'm just going to keep walking my same pace. Idiot.
I'm guessing she dealt with creepy guys all the time.
I guess.
Like, she seemed over it. Like, when Barry and Ralph first walked in, and she's just looking at him like, really? More creepy guys? And then the two guys, while she's outside and the place is closed, she's like, now more creepy guys. And then she leaves that evening, and she just sees another creepy guy. She's like, all right, I'm leaving. And then she got scared after he started running after her.
Yeah. I guess.
Not for nothing, if I see a guy in a bloody sailor's outfit and he starts running after me with an oar, I'm not announcing anything.
No.
I am out of there.
Yeah. And you don't just go around the corner and then hide where he can see you. You just keep running. Just keep running.
That's the 80s aspect of the film. That's the 80s slasher aspect of the film. The people hiding in plain sight. It's like, I'm going to pull the covers over me. Now, no serial killers can get me because I'm under a sheet.
It's like that commercial where they're like, why don't we go to the running car? They're like, no, that would never work.
Right? Go to the running car. Run upstairs instead of downstairs and out of here.
Yeah.
Or, the hide under the bed thing, which is overdone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the 80s aspect of just hiding around the corner. I laughed out loud like that. I'm like, yep, you're dead. And in rather grotesque fashion, too.
Yes.
Like, wasn't he the second one that, took somebody's face out with an oar?
I think so.
I think the security guard bit it, pretty much the same way.
Yeah. It was weird.
Ooh. There were some brutal kills in this. I did enjoy the special effects.
The only one that really bothered me, I think it was the first one, where it was the hand that came out, attacked her. And I was just like, what? How?
Or she didn't realize that it attacked her at first. It was just sort of there, and she thought it was her boyfriend. There was some line that she said when he first disappeared, I guess I'll just sleep with that guy.
Yeah.
Or something to that nature. I'm like, who are you looking at? Are you looking at the fisherman? Did you see the guy? And we're just like, hey, I guess he's not here, so I'll just go hook up with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
I don't know. personally, I love the film from back to front because it reminded me of so many things that I picked up from VHS cutout bins whenever I went shopping.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for one, they made a film. Kudos. Clearly have a small budget. But they did it. And that, for one, is impressive. There's some plot hole unrealisticness to it that I thought could have been cleaned up just with the rewrite on the script. But I did enjoy it. I did laugh several times. The two main guys, Barry and Ralph, are pretty funny. And you know, I kind of, this is my feel on things like this.
Okay.
If you're going to make it campy, really, really make it campy. You know, like
that's what I want from a sequel.
Yeah, I don't know if they pushed it enough. Like, if you're going to do it that way, then really, really do it that way.
I think that's what I would love to see from a sequel from this. They did a great film as far as I'm concerned. I'm buying the Blu-ray. I want it as part of my collection. All right, this is the second film in recent history that I've watched that were sort of independent cinema that I ran across through Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think you'd enjoy the first one. I'll give you the name of it after we're done here today.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it enough that I think if they make a sequel, I think they need to go no holds barred and just push the envelope with the campiness, the goriness. If you're going to go unrealistic, make it completely outlandish.
Exactly.
Just go way over the top. You know, I want to see old trauma film Toxic Avenger or The Killer Condom or something like that. Just really weird. You know, figure out a way to bring Lulu to life.
Yeah.
So we can actually see the giant horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
So I loved it enough that I'd love to see a sequel, personally.
Oh, goodness. I had a thought.
That's my computer giving updates to me. Sorry about that.
I had a thought, and it went right out of my head. And I wish I got it back.
You had well,
yeah.
My love for the film kind of drove a thought out of your head. I apologize.
It was something to do with Barry and Ralph, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about with Barry and Ralph. There really is.
That is true.
I mean, these guys are obviously really. Did you watch through the credits at all?
I kept it going, but I think I did stop it before the end of it. Why?
They had this whole scene at the end of the film after the credits where they had a post-credits scene where they're talking to this old Italian guy, which they invited to be part of their crew. And he's trying to come up with a name for himself as a superhero. And everything that he said, he's Italian himself. So everything he said was an offensive Italian stereotype, trying to come up with a name for himself as a superhero.
Like Meatball.
He's like, I know that you can't say these kinds of things anymore because they're not PC, but if my superhero name would be this. And it's like, are you sure you're not a villain? This is more of a villain thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just ask a guy if he's a villain. He's not going to tell you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely watch this again. Do you want to do your rating system for this?
Sure. Let's see here. So I would, based on everything, I'd give it a 6 out of 10 fishing hooks.
Okay. See, I'm going to rate it a little bit higher because I've been raving about all of this. So with the nostalgia that this brought back, the films, I'm going to go over some of my old Troma catalog just because I watched this film and I loved it so much. Personally, I would give this maybe an 8.5 out of 10 Legends of Lulu.
That's funny.
You know, because honestly, this this is right up there as far as I'm concerned. With I don't know if you've gotten to see the old Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High films, the over the top, gory, offensive, just pull out everything you can do to make people go, "Oh my God, what the hell did I just watch?" That's how I felt about this. I put it right up there with those old Trauma films.
I love it. Oh, I remember what my thought was.
Oh, go ahead.
Their beach is called Slaughter Beach. Why the hell would you go there? And who would name it Slaughter Beach?
Slaughter Beach. I don't know. Maybe a really big fan of Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, if they were going for a G.I. Joe thing, first of all, I'm not vacationing anywhere called Slaughter Beach. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
It's, it's just like hearing Camp Crystal Lake. You know that you're not going there.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
No, I don't live on Elm Street. And you don't go swimming at Slaughter Beach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huh. Well, I think that's all I've got to say about the film, to be honest.
Me too. I say bring in more cheese, more campy. Really go for it.
Yeah, that's what I say. I really feel I want to see them do a sequel. I love this enough that I would watch a sequel with no problem. Just go over the top. Take it to that next level.
Like, I think if I was in the position of our listeners and I knew what I was getting into when I got into it, I might have been in a different state when I got into it. I didn't know what we were watching. I just got sent a link and you said, "Hey, you want to be a part of this? Go watch it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I wasn't sure what I was watching. And so I think my movie reviewer side was like, "Sarah, what the fuck are you watching?" But had I known it was like, it wasn't homemade, but it was more low budget.
Right.
I might have been in a different headspace when I watched it. So there could have been a scenario where I would have super enjoyed it and not been as negative.
I absolutely knew what I was getting into. I am drawn to films like this. If you were to come over here and take a look at my Blu-ray collection, most of the things in my Blu-ray collection, you would see this in those films.
Yeah. That
being said, I watched it once sober and 2 more times so far from sober. And my enjoyment was about the same either way. It's just I found different things funny when I was a little more high.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that's not allowed here in Texas, so I didn't get to watch it that way.
Not only do I recommend this to the people that listen to my podcast, I am definitely going to recommend this. I am also buying the Blu-ray so I can drag some friends over here, have a couple of beers, and watch it with them. So,
well, good. There's some people on TikTok that buy movies, review movies. I can send you who they are. I think they would super enjoy this movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to spread the love. This is a great film. I wouldn't say, hey, put out a sequel if I didn't love it.
Yeah.
So
now, did you love this more or Tiptoes more?
Oh, you're talking about 2 completely different things here. If there is somehow a better director's cut of this film hanging around somewhere, I will be just as ravenous about wanting to find that. I am still waiting with bated breath to see if they ever find a Tiptoes director's cut. Get that out there. But that's you're talking night and day here. Do I love old 80s campy films or like movies that had massive ensemble casts that should have been brilliant but were brought down to the level of absurdity by all the editing?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about Tiptoes. Tiptoes was put on the level of this kind of film because of all the added editing that they did. They took a high budget feature and turned it into a low budget feature, even though they put millions of dollars into it.
So true.
So,
Well,
mind you, I still rated. We didn't do a rating system for Tiptoes.
no, we didn't. We didn't.
No, I noticed that at the end. Was like, oh, we didn't do the ratings
Yeah, I thought about that later, and I was like, oh well.
because I still would have rated Tiptoes about an 8.5.
Yeah, I
Like it's up
mean,
there. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
I probably would have given it a higher rating than I would have thought I would have, but yeah.
If it wasn't for Gary Oldman in that film, it would have been unbearable. Seriously, Gary Oldman was the one that just like, oh, this is a fantastic film. Why Gary Oldman? That's why.
Yep, that's why. Punk.
You know, you go see Gary Oldman trying to play a little person as a person on his knees with shoes. You know,
Oh Lord.
if you didn't enjoy that, then you got problems.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
Yeah, seeing as this is sort of a simultaneous cast, I'm not even sure how to. You know what? We'll do both of our things. You can find us anywhere on Facebook, Instagram. You can find us anywhere that your podcasts are put out. And for us, you know, like Miss B always says, drink some water, you thirsty bitches. And now you can sign yourself off.
Yeah, you can find us everywhere at Two Chicks Talking Flicks on all platforms, and stay tuned to what we have going on next week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, and the new podcast.
Yes, our new podcast. It's called Flirtin' with 40. It features me and my friend Sarah. We just talk about being 40 and different stuff from the 80s and 90s that we grew up with. So go take a listen to that. New episodes are out on Fridays.
And we are working on a new podcast on our end too, which is going to be more of a short, like 30 to 45 minute thing, but it's mostly just fun and games, pitting movies against each other. And I'm looking for people to collaborate on that. So near the end of the year, we'll have that out.
Awesome. Well, talk to you guys later.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.